Welcome back, guys. This is Warhammer Sean, and I'm here to bring you the Codex review of Dark Angels. This is part 5, which will be the fast attack section for the Dark Angels. Let's get to it. So, just like every Codex in 7th edition since Codex Orcs, they've been including the vehicles in the fast attack section for you just to take as a fast attack selection, which is cool, I think. The Rhino is 35 points. And basically he's Bliss skill 4, front side armor 10, or sorry, front side armor 11, rear armor 10, and 3 hull points. He's a tank, transport. He's got Stormbolter, Searchlight, smoke launchers. The Rhino can repair itself if it's immobilized on a D6 in the shooting phase instead of shooting. You can try to no longer be immobilized. You don't get the hull point back, but you get to be immobilized again. Transport capacity of 10, but may not carry bulky, very bulky, or extremely bulky models. Fire points, it has 2 from the top hatch, and it has access points on the sides and the rear of the hull. It may take items from Dark Angels vehicle equipment list. So the one good, I think it's cool that you can do this. The one bad thing that I have seen abused with the introduction of this is I have seen Droppods be used to carry or pimp out everybody, because all Imperials are battle brothers, so you can basically put anybody into a Droppod, which I think is a little wanky and cheesy, but it's the way the rules are right now, so that's the way the game goes. I think it's kind of cool for your own army to be able to take those things and use them, but I think it's a little weird that they would, in battle have their friends using their gear, but whatever. It is what it is. The next one is the Razorback for 55 points. Bliss skill 4, front side armor 11, rear armor 10, 3 hull points. It's tank, transport, has a twin-linked heavy bolter, searchlight, smoke launchers, has a transport capacity of 6, and can't carry bulky, very bulky, or extremely bulky models. Has no fire points and has access point on the rear and the side. May replace its twin-linked heavy bolter with a twin-linked heavy flamer for free. Twin-link assault cannon for 20 points, twin-linked las cannon for 20 points, or las cannon with twin-linked plasma gun for 20 points. May take items from the Dark Angels vehicle equipment list. I think you're going to see Razorbacks used a lot more, just like in Codex Space Marines, because you're getting these things for free, and so I think people are going to get that, even if they spend the 20 points to upgrade them to give an assault cannon or las cannon with twin-link plasma gun. I used to think the las cannon with twin-link plasma gun was really good, and I think it might have even said that in the Space Marine Codex review. I've kind of rethought that a little bit, and someone had mentioned to me, if they're moving their vehicle, and it's not a fast vehicle, so it can only move and fire one weapon if it goes 6 inches. So I would rather be able to shoot or fire a weapon, so I think most of the time I'd probably rather run the assault cannon or las cannon twin-linked instead of the plasma gun and las cannon. But that's a personal preference. The next fast attack is the Droppod for 35 points. It's Bliss skill 4, front side armor, rear armor of 12, and 3 hull points. It's open topped transport. Droppod has a Stormbolter with it. So it has the same rules for anything that's the Droppod. It is immobile once it's entered, and it can't be repaired in any way. And it doesn't lose a hull point when it becomes immobilized. They actually have specified this in the new edition with Droppods now, because it was kind of a question. A lot of places or big events had a fact that you don't lose a hull point, but it is immobilized. They did specify before that it was immobilized, but they didn't ever say if you lost a hull point or not. Most things, when they become immobilized, loses a hull point. The one thing that does affect it, though, is if you're shooting grav at it and you roll a 6, it makes it immobile, but if you're already immobile, which this is, you can lose 2 hull points versus 1. So grav will still work on this and do 2 hull points right away because it's already immobilized. The transport capacity is 10 models or 1 dreadnought of any type. May replace a Stormbolter with a Deathwind launcher for 15 points, and may take a Locator Beacon for 10 points. I think you'll see the Deathwind launcher with Space Marines of any kind more often now, because it comes down, it's considered to be going at combat speed, so you're going to be able to fire that Deathwind launcher the first turn instead of waiting a turn to be able to shoot it like you did in the previous edition. So, but I still think most of the time you're going to keep it cheap, and instead of paying 50 points for a Droppod, pay 35 with a Stormbolter. It's still really good, and a lot of things have a hard time dealing with Armor 12, and if it lands and it's objective secured because it's taken by troops, it's going to be really difficult to remove that thing off the objective. So you've got an OBSEC unit that's just kind of sitting there, and the enemy has to deal with it. Yeah, it can go off target, and once it lands, it's done, but it's still really good. It's a really good transport, and it's hard to crack. It's armor 12. A lot of things have trouble dealing with it. A lot of troops and basic guns are strength 4, and so they're not going to be able to deal with an armor 12. And even like Tau with their pulse rifles with a strength 5 can't deal with the armor 12. So it's a tough nut to crack. I mean, even strength 6 weapons have a hard time with it. So it's a very decent vehicle. It's durable. I mean, yes, it's open topped if something does penetrate it, but it's having a harder time unless you're using a heavy weapon dedicated toward it. And really, the Droppod isn't doing much except for holding an objective. So it's the best of both worlds, because either the opponent has to take time to deal with that because it's objective secured, they kind of have to. But at the same time, you don't really care about it that much. It's 35 points, it delivered your stuff, and if it dies, so be it. It's better than shooting at your guys. So, it's good all around. I mean, the Droppod is a very good unit. It's a very good unit, hands down. The next fast attack is the Assault Squad for 70 points, and that comes with 4 Space Marines and a Space Marine Sergeant. Weapon skill 4, ballistic skill 4, strength toughness 4, wounds 1, initiative 4, attacks 1, leadership 8, 3+ save. The veteran sergeant has an extra attack and leadership boost of 9. They have a bolt pistol, chainsword, frag grenades, crack grenades. They shall know no fear, combat squads, and grim resolve. They may take up to 5 additional Space Marines for 14 points a model. The entire squad may take jump packs for 3 points a model. So they don't come standard with it. You have to pay the 3 points for the jump packs. Up to 2 Space Marines may replace their bolt pistols with one of the following: flamer or plasma pistol. So the flamer is 5 points, plasma pistol is 15 points. Every 5 models in the unit, one model may replace a bullet pistol with a chainsword. Bullet pistol and chainsword with an eviscerator for 25 points. May upgrade the Space Marine Sergeant to a Veteran Sergeant for 10 points. Space Marine Sergeant or Veteran Sergeant may take items from melee weapons, ranged weapons. Space Marine Sergeant and Veteran Sergeant may take a combat shield and or melt-a-bombs for 5 points each. The squad does not take jump packs. It may take a Droppod, Rhino, or Razorback as a designated transport. I mean, Assault Squad and the boost that Space Marines got with their special $400 package deal with the Devastator Squad was good. I don't think you're going to see the Assault Marines too much in the Dark Angels. I mean, honestly, Deathwing or Ravenwing are going to be a better use of your assaulty units. The Ravenwing Bike Squad is 75 points. It comes with 2 Ravenwing Bikers and a Ravenwing Sergeant. Has a bolt pistol or chainsword for war gear. And heavy bolter, attack bike only. Frag grenades, crack grenades, Space Marine bike, teleport homer. The special rules are they shall know no fear, combat squad, grim resolve, hit and run, Ravenwing, and scout. Their weapon skills 4, strength 4, toughness 5, 1 wound, initiative 4, attacks 1, leadership 8, save 3+. Sergeant has the same stats except for the veteran sergeant has 2 attacks and a leadership boost of 9. And then if you take the Ravenwing attack bike, it has 2 wounds and has 2 attacks. You may take up to 3 additional Ravenwing bikes for 25 points a model. Up to 2 Ravenwing bikers may each take items from the special weapons list. You may upgrade the Ravenwing Sergeant to a Ravenwing Veteran Sergeant for 10 points. The Ravenwing Sergeant or Ravenwing Veteran Sergeant may take items from melee weapon and or range weapons, and may take melta bombs for 5 points. You may include 1 Ravenwing attack bike for 45 points. The Ravenwing bike may replace its heavy bolter with a multi-melta for 10 points. So you can have him in there. I think you could run. I think you're going to see a lot of the 3-man squads and have a special weapon, so plasma melter or grav, with the sergeant having a combi of those. One of those things. They're pretty good. Although honestly, I think that the Black Knight squad is a little bit better, so I think you're more likely to see that than the Ravenwing Bike Squad. But if you're trying to save points or have cheap units, you will see the Ravenwing Bike Squad played. You can take a Ravenwing Attack Bike Squad for 45 points. Weapon skill is skill 4, strength 4, toughness 5, 2 wounds, initiative 4, attacks 2, leadership 8, save 3+. They have a bolt pistol, heavy bolter, frag grenades, crack grenades, space marine bike, teleport homer. Special rules: they show no fear, grim resolve, hit and run, Ravenwing, and scout special rule. You may include up to 2 additional Ravenwing attack bikes for 45 points a model. Any Ravenwing attack bike may replace its heavy bolter with a multi-melta for 10 points. So maybe you might see these guys around for kind of heavy hitters, although honestly there's a formation that we'll see later with Landspeeders that I think are honestly better than the Ravenwing attack bike, although it's armor versus wounded models. I think you're going to see it more often. So I don't think you're going to see the attack bike squads too often. Maybe you'll see an attack bike with a Ravenwing bike squad, but I don't think you're going to see them that often, to be honest. Okay. The next thing is the Ravenwing Landspeeders, and those are 50 points a model. They're ballistic skill 4, front, side, rear armor 10, and 2 hull points. They're a fast skimmer, and they come with a heavy bolter. They can deep strike and have their Ravenwing special rule. Anti-grav upwash. While this list includes at least 3 Ravenwing Landspeeders, they can move an additional 6 inches when moving flat out. It's a nice little cool thing, although most of the time you're probably going to be shooting them. You may include up to 4 additional Ravenwing Landspeeders. That's right, 4. Instead of squads of 3, you can have a squad of 4 Ravenwing Landspeeders for 30 points a model. Any Ravenwing Landspeeder replaces heavy bolter with one of the following: a heavy flamer for free. I don't think you really want to get these guys too close because they're pretty paper-thin armor, so I don't see the heavy flamer being used that often. You may take a multi-melta for 10 points. I think you're going to see that quite often. And any Ravenwing Landspeeder may take one of the following: heavy bolter for 5 points, heavy flamer for 5 points, multi-melta for 15 points, assault cannon for 20 points, or typhoon missile launcher for 25 points. I think you're more likely to see, there's a couple ways to kind of run them on the cheap. If you run a squad of 4 and spend, an extra 5 points, you can have 4 guys with 2 heavy bolters, so they can move 12 inches and fire both their heavy bolters. That's 6 shots each model, so times 4 is 24 shots at strength 5, AP 4. That's pretty good, for lower strength shots. The other way to run them is, you could put the multi-melta on them, or leave the heavy bolter and put the typhoon missile launcher on it for 25 points. So there's 75 points a model, and that's pretty good, power. And the typhoon missile launcher has long range. If you leave the heavy bolter, that's 36 inches. You've got a lot of range. You can stay out of people's way to not get hit with your paper thin armor. If you want the multi-melta, you got to get closer to 24 inches. And you could run it cheaper and spend 25 points for 2 multi-meltas. There's a lot of ways to run these guys. I don't think the heavy flamer is the best way to do it, honestly. maybe if you want to have a suicide one guy doing that, but I think, whatever you do that to, they're going to be pwned the next turn, unless you're going to use them to go and pick off back units. Like potentially you could go, they have deep strike. You could potentially, have them come in and try to punk something that's sitting on an objective, like a squad of grots or scouts or something. I still don't think that's the best way to run it, but you could make an argument for running them that way. You could. I think the Maltas or the assault cannon, although honestly I like the Typhoon missile launcher and heavy bolter kit the best, because you can kind of stay at 36-inch range. You can move 12 inches and shoot those things, and you can choose either frag or crack missiles for the missile launcher, and 2 shots each is pretty good. The next fast attack is the Ravenwing Dark Shroud, which is 80 points. It was a turd of a tank or a skimmer in the last edition. It's a lot better in this edition, and there's a formation we'll hear later on that makes it phenomenal. So I think you're going to see the Dark Shroud a lot. Maybe this is GW's way to sell the model, because last time it really was a sucky skimmer. I bought one of them, and I kind of pre-ordered it before the book came out, and then at the book came out, I'm like, man, this thing really sucks, and I never put it together. I will be putting mine together now because it's good. It's ballistic skill 4, front side rear armor 10. It's got 3 hull points. It's a fast skimmer. It's got a heavy bolter on it. It has deep strike, Ravenwing, scout, and shrouded special rule. And the icon of Caliban, friendly units with the Dark Angels faction within 6 inches of 1 or more Ravenwing Dark Shrouds gain the fear and stealth special rule, though this does not affect Dark Shrouds themselves. Furthermore, enemy units cannot fire Overwatch at friendly units that are with the Dark Angels faction that are within 6 inches of 1 or more Ravenwing Dark Shrouds at the start of the assault phase. That's really good, especially think about this. Let's just mention one army, Tau, that gets to have like all its buddies fire Overwatch. You have these guys zooming up the field with your bikes, and you're slamming into them turn 2. They don't get to fire Overwatch because of the Dark Shroud. It's pretty powerful, it really is. You may replace the heavy bolter with an assault cannon for 15 points, so you can make it 95 points and have an assault cannon. It may be worthwhile doing that. Honestly, I'd rather keep it cheap, so I probably wouldn't. I really want to use it for its intended purpose and keep it, safe and surrounded with things. But there's nothing wrong with giving it the assault cannon, because it's got to be close to your guys to make them protected. So there's nothing wrong with having the assault cannon. But sometimes if you're pinching points, 15 points is a big deal. The next fast attack is a Nephilim jet fighter, 170 points. It's Bliss skill 4, front side rear armor 11, and it's got 3 hull points. And it's a vehicle flyer, and it has a twin-linked heavy bolter, and an Avenger mega bolter, and 6 black sword missiles. Assuming their strength. Let's look it up before I say anything. So, the Avenger Mega Bolter is Heavy 5, Strength 6, AP4. Not that great. Twin-linked Heavy Bolter is good. 6 Black Sword Missiles. They're Strength 7, AP3, 1 use only. I was expecting them to be Strength 8, but they're not. So they've got 6 Black Sword Missiles. They have Strafing Run, which increases their bullet skill for most units that they're shooting against. They have Missile Lock, Ravenwing special rule. They're going to replace their Avenger Mega Bolter with a twin-linked las cannon for 5 points. That might be worth it. When shooting at enemy vehicles, a Nephilim jet fighter can choose to treat any weapon destroyed result as an immobilized result instead. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's basically on a 5 or a 6 you can make something immobilized. That's pretty good. That's 170 points. The next one is a Ravenwing Dark Talon, which is 160 points, 10 points cheaper. As a Ravenwing Dark Talon is Bliss skill 4, front, side, rear armor 11, 3 hull points. It is a flyer and a hover vehicle. The last one couldn't hover. It has 2 hurricane bolters and a rift cannon and a stasis bomb. And then Ravenwing and strafing run. The stasis bomb is strength 4, AP 5, bomb, large blast, vast stasis anomaly, 1 use only. Any unit hit by 1 or more weapons with this special rule reduces its weapon skill and initiative by 3 to a minimum of 1 until the end of the turn. Furthermore, if a model suffers 1 or more unsaved wounds from this weapon, it must pass a separate initiative test for each wound suffered or be removed from play as a casualty. So if you don't pass an initiative test, basically removes play. It's good against things like Tyranids, but you have to cause a wound first, or things like Necrons with a low initiative that if you hit, like they're, like a Cryptek or a like a Lord or Overlord. The problem is you have to cause the wound first, and it's only AP 5. But if you have to make an initiative test, initiative 2 on a Necron, you're probably not going to pass it. So it's pretty good. I don't think you're going to see either one of these fighters that much. They got better, I think, but there's so many better fast attack choices. I don't think you're going to see it as much. The next thing is the Ravenwing Black Knights. They're 120 points. And let me just check something here quick. They're a little bit more expensive. They have 2 Ravenwing Black Knights and 1 Ravenwing Huntsmaster. The Ravenwing Black Knights have a bolt pistol, plasma talon, Corvus hammer, frag grenades, crack grenades, teleport homer. They shall know no fear, grim resolve, hit and run, Ravenwing scout, and skilled rider. For every 3 models in the unit, 1 Ravenwing Black Knight may replace his plasma talon with a Ravenwing grenade launcher. The Ravenwing Huntsmaster may replace his Corvus hammer with a power weapon. Honestly, I don't know if you'd really want to spend the points. It's 12 points for that. I think I'd rather keep the Rending Corvus hammer because then he's strength 5. You could take something like a power axe that's going to reduce your initiative and make you AP 2, but I don't know if I'd spend the 12 points on it, honestly. The Ravenwing Huntsmaster may take up Melta Bombs for 5 points. That may potentially be worth it. You can take up to 7 additional Ravenwing Black Knights for 40 points a model. They have Weapon Skill plus Skill 4, Strength 4, Toughness 5, Wounds 1, Initiative 4, Attacks 2, Leadership 9, and 3 plus Save. I honestly think the Ravenwing Blackwing Knights are worth it if you have the points instead of just the normal Ravenwing bikes. One, because of Skilled Rider. I'm just going to compare the two quick. They both have hit and run. They both have scout. Everything else is the same except that these guys have 2 close combat weapons. So once again, instead of the base 2 attacks versus the regular bike squad has base 1 attack, these guys actually have base 3 attack because they have the Corvus hammer and the bolt pistol, and they're rending, which is good. Plus, they have Skilled Rider, which means you don't have to worry about dangerous terrain checks. And their gun is a plasma gun, strength 7 AP 2, rapid fire, gets hot. Better than a bolt pistol. I just think overall, point for point, the Black Knights are the better buy. If you can afford it, I would take those over the Ravenwing bikes. That's heavy support. I'm going to stop here. The next part will be the heavy support, and we'll probably do the Lord of War with it, because that'll be part 6, and then we'll do part 7, which will be the formations. Then we'll be done. So until next time, I'll see you soon, hopefully, and you can tune into part 6, the heavy support section for the Dark Angels. Until then, happy wargaming.
Goodbye. 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 Bye-bye. Goodbye. See ya. Bye for now. Bye for now. Goodbye. I like bottoms.